The joy that the birth of a child brings is to be cherished, but for many moms and dads, joy turns into sorrow with the loss of a baby. In this episode of My Motivate, Vivian Gaiko shares on finding life after the loss of her baby girl. In a nutshell, how would you describe yourself?
Vivian is just a lady who is very ambitious and loves helping people. So I studied medical lab science and technology,
Right.
and I started an organization called Empower Mama Foundation that supports grieving parents. And I'm also a wife. I'm a mom of two. One child that I carry in my heart and one that I'm raising now.
But Empower Mama was born out of your own personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I can imagine, you've worked hard, you've gone to college, you've got a great job, you found the love of your life, and you're expecting your first child. And you were excited about it, and you go the full term, and then things change. Let's go back there. What happened?
Back in 2013, I was pregnant with our first child. And of course, it was mixed feelings because I was still in school. I was in third year. So I was happy. I was, it's too soon. I'm not yet done with school. But yeah, we are pro-life. So we chose to keep the baby. The pregnancy was smooth. I never had any issues. All the tests were okay. Everything was normal. And so D-Day came. I went through 12 hours of labor.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was really, something else. And I had to go in for a C-section because of CPD, for those who will know. It's cephalopelvic disproportion. Which means my pelvic space is too small. It couldn't accommodate the head of the baby.
Right.
And this nurse tells me after 12 hours of labor. So I was really angry with that nurse. Yeah, but my baby was born and she was adorable. That's the best thing I've ever seen. I actually shed a tear, and the doctor was like, "Why are you crying?" I'm like, "I'm happy. I've never seen this beautiful little thing." We stayed in the hospital 4 days, went back home, and 2 weeks later, I was now to go back for a wound checkup for my wound check, the CS wound, and the nurse just grabbed the baby and said, "This baby is not looking okay." So he had to be admitted. It was actually exactly 2 weeks after birth. I didn't know that. Something that I really blamed myself for a long time. How could I not tell a baby is not feeling well or is not, But she never used to feed well, and I thought it was this myth that people say that girls don't feed a lot.
There are all sorts of things that people tell each other, and we've grown up hearing about babies and caring for babies.
So they put her on oxygen, they even put her on drip, and that was another thing. It traumatized me. Because, they are searching for a
tiny, and they're looking for the veins, and such a tiny little being.
Yes. But the next day, a doctor friend of ours came and said, this baby is not looking okay. We have to get a transfer right now. So we went to Kenyatta. We were admitted, and the doctor now started asking the history, and we were giving the history, and she wrote there, query sepsis. And I was like, I read this thing in school. And what was registering in my head that time was fatal, because neonatal sepsis is really fatal, especially if not diagnosed early. Yeah, but if it is diagnosed early, some interventions can be made, and they can curb the illness. So for me, I think I just went blank. They took out some blood for testing, and we were to wait because, Kenyatta is chrome. There's no bed.
No.
We had to actually wait, and we got a bed around 7 p.m.
After waiting the whole entire day?
Yeah, from 11 a.m. Yeah, so we got a bed around 7 p.m. and she was put on a drip. She was getting panic attacks. They were trying to resuscitate. All this was happening too fast for me, and I can't even explain my feelings at that moment. I was just too numb to believe this was happening, and it was actually happening to me. Yeah. So At 8 p.m., she took her last breath. They actually tried their best. The doctors there did the best they could. But of course, at that moment, I was like, you can do more. You can, yeah.
Like, don't stop. Just keep trying.
Yes. They even tried to remove me from there, but I was like, ah.
You're not leaving her.
Yeah. So even the doctor who broke to us the news she was heartbroken than us. Because, and I could see it in her eyes. And I was wondering, now how do this, how do they even work? Telling people, your baby is normal. We just had to go home. And that was when reality
came
in. Yeah. I went home with no baby. I left home with a baby.
And suddenly you're coming back home.
Suddenly I'm coming back without a baby.
What was that like for you? Did you even sleep at all?
No, I did not. I actually even, removed all the clothes I had from the hospital and threw them outside because I didn't want to see them, because I had worn them while carrying my baby. Now without the baby. The feeling is just, I can't even describe it. It's painful. It's insurmountable. I can't even describe it. It's just a pain that cuts deep. So that's it. That's how the first phase was.
Right. I am very sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
And those are just words. But I truly am.
Thank you.
I truly am. And I'm just listening to you and then trying to put myself in that position where you have to pick up and you still have to keep moving forward. Where did you even begin? Was it friends? Was it family? Was it prayer? Where did you begin from there?
I had very supportive family. My mom-in-law, my mom, my sisters-in-law, my siblings, they were really supportive at the time. And I also have a mentor, this lady, she's called Vicky. I know she's watching. Thank you. She really supported me. She had been through a loss as well before, and that was 25 years back.
Yeah.
And she remembered, and she could relate, and I could feel that support from her. So for me, generally, the way things are in our society, people will visit you just, immediately after the loss, and maybe a few days, a month, then they go. And now reality kicks in. You're alone. There's no one else with you. So for me, I think I went into depression. The normal process of grief, it's really painful. You're angry, there's a whole lot of emotions. The guilt, the blame, you feel helpless, you feel hopeless. So all these things are happening to one
person
yes,
at the same time.
At the same time. So the burial was done the next day. This is something that we were robbed of a decision to make.
Really?
By their family and friends. The way people say, mtoto hafai kukaa sana. I actually never mourned my baby, and that affected my grieving process later in life. Later that year, actually. And if given a choice, maybe I would have done it differently. I really wanted to, cremate my baby and have the ashes with me.
Right.
And our
was
culture,
a decision
our
taken.
society.
Yes, our society.
What did you want to do? We don't ban people here.
Yeah, first there's that, not respecting what people's wishes are. And the second thing, especially with mothers and children, when they pass away when they're very young, hautuweki mtoto for long sana, like you've just said, or they say, huyu wacha tu apite, Mungu atakupatia mwingine, huyu hii haikuwa saa yake. But so the baby was buried and you had to get back to living. But it wasn't...
The baby was buried on Saturday.
Yeah.
And Sunday was Easter Sunday. So in my heart, I thought maybe, that is when it actually now registered. Now this is my new reality. Because I was praying, maybe I'm hoping it was a Good Friday, maybe she'll rise up with Jesus, those things. And now even my family members, those who were present that time, are like, you are just crazy.
No, you're just in another place where you're grieving and you're hoping for a miracle, even from beyond what you understand. Getting to where you are today, because I'm talking to you and I can't believe how strong and amazing, and you have another baby. So let's go back to putting it back together and moving forward.
All these emotions overwhelmed me.
Yeah.
And I actually attempted suicide twice because of all this, trying to understand her death. Where did this sepsis come from? Or the theater was not clean. I was blaming everybody, blaming the system, blaming myself. I was just blaming people. And I felt helpless. I would try catch some sleep and none could come. Sometimes I would even oversleep. My life had just completely changed. I stopped caring for myself and I just wanted out. So this 18th of August, a Monday, I remember vividly, I was just alone in the compound and I was having some lunch, the quick lunch you make of rice and potatoes and
peas and carrots.
Yes. So I choked really bad on that potato. I don't know how I was able to cough it out. But thank God I did, because I felt I was dying right there. Even those quick prayers you say, I can't really explain it, but I just woke up. It was like I was in a trance, and now I'm, back. And I started asking myself, why did I want to kill myself? Why did I want to die? I no longer want to die anymore. And for me, that was my turning point. And I started looking for ways to care for myself. So I would go for salsa. And now when I went back to school, I just dived into books. It was not easy.
No, but there was a fighting spirit back.
Yes, I really wanted to live for that other day. Yeah. And that's how I kept on. I kept moving. But I never talked about the suicide attempts with anyone, not even my husband. He didn't know until 2 years later.
Much later.
Yes. And this happened when a lady I used to buy stuff from, she died through suicide after the loss of her twin boys. And that event, her case really disturbed my heart. I was still in school, but I blamed myself. Why did I not talk about this much earlier? Perhaps if I could have visited with her and told her she's not alone in this, maybe I could have been different. But I kept resisting, so I didn't do anything. That was January of 2016. So I didn't do anything. January, February, March, April, May, I see a certain post. A lady says she wants to know the best poison because her babies died and she also wants to follow them. So I just reached out. And I didn't tell her my story. I just told her I have lost as well, but I can walk with you. We can cry together, we can laugh together. So I remember it was a day after my exam and I just visited with her and we just sat and cried together and laughed. And for me, seeing that, renewed hope amidst all that, it was very fulfilling. And I kept doing that. So I would reach out and go sit with some people, the way people vent on Facebook. Yeah, I will just reach out. I don't know this person, but
you know the pain.
Yeah.
You know their pain very well because you've been there. You know what it's like to have something taken from you and to be powerless and be going through that situation. And this is where Empower Mama started.
It just started like that. And for a grieving parent, when you have somewhere you can fall back to, when you have a community that understands, when you know that there's someone that understands, it really helps with the situation.
Thank you to every guest once again for making the time to share their stories. And thank you for watching. If you've got a story worth sharing or you know somebody who does, please drop me an email or let me know via my socials. Enjoy my Motivate in the meantime and see you in Season 6 of Sheila Lives Out Loud at the Waterfront Karen. You've arrived.